This is the BBQ Central Show Archives. The BBQ Central Show airs live each Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and is brought to you by the BBQ Guru, makers of automatic temperature control devices, and a host of other products that make your barbecue and grilling life easier. Visit them online at thebbqguru.com or call them 800-288-GURU. And by Big Poppa Smokers, creators of fabulous rubs, online retailer of grills, accessories, apparel, and creators of their own barbecue contests. Visit them online at bigpoppasmokers.com. And by Butcher Barbecue, creators of injections and rubs, sweeping the nation, doing well in competitions and in the backyard. You can visit them at butcherbbq.com. And by Stephen DiFranco Jewelers, official jeweler of the Barbecue Central Show. Call 440-943-2700 and use key term Barbecue Brother when you talk to Steve, or visit them online at StephenDiFranco.com. And by Green Mountain Grills, one of the best pellet grills you can get on the market today, varying sizes, not only for your capacity of cooking, but for your budget as well. Visit greenmountaingrills.com for more information. And by El Diablo Mustard, looking for a little bit of heat and flavor in regular old yellow mustard, El Diablo has you covered. 6 different flavors to choose from currently, and you can find them at eldiablomustard.com. And by CookinPellets.com. Have a pellet-driven cooker? Why not try out some of the best pellets on the market and will not void any of your warranties, by the way? CookinPellets.com is the website. And by Cookshack, a premier manufacturer of electric and pellet-driven cookers, giving barbecue classes located in Ponca City, Oklahoma. Always running some kind of a special deal. Check them out at Cookshack.com.
Hi, this is Scott Greenya from Fairfax, Vermont, also known as Scotty DQ, and you're listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
All right, good evening and welcome to the really big Barbecue Central Show. This is the show that talks about all things important in the world of barbecue and grilling, broadcasting live and direct from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio, rapidly becoming known as the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I am your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday evening. If you want to jump in on the show tonight, more than happy to have you. It's a call on a phone or some soft phone device if you have it, 216-220-0966. You can also email the show if you want, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. You also have the option of just laying back and enjoying the show for the premier content and entertainment value that will bring you over these next 120 minutes or so. Everything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening in case you didn't get the newsletter. Coming up in about 13 minutes from now, a monthly guest. It is a second Sunday of a new month, and you know what that means, folks. It's got to be Meathead Goldwyn. Got to be Meathead. And tonight, we are talking mainly, I mean, who knows? As soon as the segments start, the gloves are off. Outlines have been burned. Kids have been forced undercover. And the ne'er-do-wells have been chased out into the weeds. Much like whatever we might be ending up talking about tonight. But the idea or the topic of the show is indeed pizza. So if you are a fan of pizza, and who's not? I love pizza more than probably most people. Especially on the grill, you're going to want to tune in to the next couple segments we have with Meathead. And then coming up in the second hour, there is a television show out there right now doing famously well on the I want to say it's the Travel Channel. I think so. American Grilled, newest victor. And to the victors go the spoils. And by the spoils, I mean showing up on a crummy internet barbecue and grilling show. Clint Cantwell, pitmaster of Smoke in the Eye, creator of SmokeInTheEye.com, the blog, editor-in-chief of Grilling.com. Man, he's a legend. Current legend. Clint Cantwell will be joining us at 10:14. And then at 10:35, over the genesis of the live show, the date on a Tuesday has been September 11th. However, tonight is September 9th, but in 2 days, September 11th will make its return to the calendar. And if it has anything near, even if it didn't, could have been on Saturday, I'd still be doing it. We're going to have our yearly September 11th remembrance segment. So if you have a thought or a recollection or whatever it has to do with September 11th, 2001, this is the time of the year that I do my very minuscule part in making sure that anybody that listens to the show does not forget what happened, now almost 13 years ago. So that is going to be your show. Meathead for an hour, Clint Cantwell, September 11th segment to round out the show. If you want to jump in, more than happy to have you. 216-220-0966. Greg at the BBQ Central Show.com. Make your Facebook posts, your tweets, your social media type postings that the show's on. If you want to send them to the video partner of the show, OutdoorCookingChannel.com, the place to do it. You can catch the live video feed of the show happening right now if you're listening to it audibly. If you're listening to it audibly, maybe you're listening to it on the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. Maybe you're listening through the iTunes, Apple TV, and the radio section. There's Barbecue Central Radio right there in the radio for iTunes. Maybe you're listening to it or watching it through Roku. Download the Outdoor Cooking Channel app in the Roku App Store, and there's a live stream feed right there. And don't forget, you can subscribe to this show, audible replays on iTunes. It's the most popular way. I do have a YouTube channel that you can see scrolling on the lower third here. Outdoor Cooking Channel obviously has all the video replays as well. So as I say each and every week, never any reason you should ever miss anything on the show, not even a little bit, ever, or what have you. All right, this is new. This is exciting. New in the fact that it just sprung up here over the course of the last few days. Last year, you would recall, with the help of Mr. Marks over there with Operation Barbecue Relief, gave away, we raffled off, was it 2 tickets, or I forget exactly how it went down, but we had a raffle for Hog with a Heart. And Stan Hayes, executive director and co-founder of Operation Barbecue Relief, has gotten in touch with me and said they would like to raffle off 1 ticket to the Hog with a Heart barbecue class that goes on October 3rd at the American Royal. So just like last year, you can win a free ticket. You have to be able to get yourself there. This is the 2nd annual Hog with a Heart, 2014 American Royal, Kansas City, Missouri, October 2nd through October 5th. If you want to learn to cook ribs, both spare and baby back, like a pro, how about learning the secrets to cooking whole shoulders or pork butts? Would you like to watch the presentation prep of whole hog for a hog contest? Come learn from some of the top pitmasters in the country. 3 barbecue bucket list opportunities. Thursday, October 2nd, you have the 2014 Attend the Hog Prep. Friday, October 3rd, which I believe is what this ticket is for, is the baby back and spare rib, butt, shoulder, and more. Guest speaker, hog presentation prep, and review includes goodie bag and information. 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Friday, October 3rd. It's a $275 value tonight. We will be raffling off tickets for $25. So if you have $25 and you want to get in, PayPal it over to me. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com is the PayPal address. And a $25 ticket could get you a $275 class. $275 class for the Friday, October 3rd's one-day class on ribs, baby back and spares, butts, shoulders, and more. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. So if there's only one entrant who's and all that money that I get will be donated right to Operation Barbecue Relief, post-haste. And we will run it through, let's see, it's October. So let's give it a week, I guess. Let's go through, give it a week. We'll hold open the raffle. You go and PayPal me $25, and then in a reference line, just put Hog with a Heart or Operation Barbecue Relief Raffle or whatever, just so I can make sure that I'm allotting it properly. And then we'll see how it all shakes out. Next Tuesday, we will hold the drawing for the raffle and see exactly who gets the lucky ticket. So a $25 investment, and really it's not an investment, you're just giving $25 to Operation Barbecue Relief, which has garnered insane recognition for the amount of work that they do in disaster time. Tornado hits, natural disaster hits, they mobilize, they're feeding thousands of meals, they're there for days and weeks until really it's not needed anymore. And then they're off to remobilize and do it all again when nature unfortunately calls, and it does every year. Operation Barbecue Relief. So thanks to Stan Hayes for the ticket. And again, all you have to do is PayPal me $25, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. $25, reference Hog with a Heart or outdoor or Operation Barbecue Relief raffle. And we will see how many entrants we get. And remember, the fewer the entrants, the better your chance of winning the raffle. And the only thing that you have to do is make sure that you get yourself there. That's the only thing that this doesn't cover. You get to attend everything else on August 3rd, as far as the prep, the class, the hang with top pitmasters in the industry. It's a great cause. If you're going to be out there hanging out, taking in the wares of the American Royal, why not chip off $25 to a great organization in Operation Barbecue Relief and potentially win a great day of learning how to make your ribs and pork products in general better from some of the top pitmasters out there. Have any questions? Email me, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Thanks to Stan Hayes once again for that. All right, before we get to Meathead, let me talk to you about Cookshack, the Sportsman Special running for the next 3 weeks. Need an idea for fishing or hunting enthusiasts? How about a Cookshack electric smoker? Now until September 26th, you can save up to $120 with our Sport 14 special. Purchase a residential smoker and receive a free set of jerky rods and cold smoke baffle. Smoker models with this special include the SM009, the SM025, the SM045, and the SM066. The jerky rods, part numbers are PM, like Papa Mike 006, and PM Papa Mike 010. The cold smoke baffle part is part number PA, like Papa Alpha 020, and PA Papa Alpha 024. Enter the promo code SPORT14 when you check out online at Cookshack.com, or call and speak to one of the friendly folks at Cookshack. Call them toll-free, 800-423-0698. That's 800-423-0698. This offer is not valid with any other discount or promotion. Smokehead, the Smokehead Elite, the Super Smokehead Elite, and the AmeriQ are the electric smokers that make it easy to add real wood smoke to your foods. They are inexpensive to operate, energy efficient. You'll love smoking jerky. You will love how easy these stainless steel jerky rods are to use. Hang jerky strips on the rods that fit the smoker's side racks. Prepare smoked cheese, lock-style sandwich. Steaks to finish on the grill, and more when you use the stainless steel cold smoke baffle. Turns the smoker into a cold smoking machine. For instructional videos on how to operate the units, the jerky rods, and the cold smoke baffle, check out the Cookshack YouTube channel or the cooking guide on the Cookshack website. Again, that's Cookshack.com. Sport14 is the promo code to either tell when you call at 800-423-0698 or when you check out online at Cookshack.com. That's Sport, S-P-O-R-T 14. Don't delay. Order today so you can get smoking. Cookshack is smoking made simple. Thanks to Cookshack for their continued support of the show. Take advantage of that now. My dad has a smokeette. He has the jerky rods, and let me tell you something firsthand, some of the best jerky ever. Nay, best jerky ever. Yes. You want the best jerky ever? Get a Cookshack, a smokeette, get the jerky rods. Don't delay. Sport 14. Meathead up next.
Broadcasting live from the BBQ Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the BBQ Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right. We are back, 216-220-0966. Greg at the BBQCentralShow.com is the email address if you see fit. Joining me now, the creator of the most heavily trafficked barbecue and grilling website, forum, and whatever else he's got going on over there at AmazingRibs.com. Ladies and gentlemen, might I interest you in a piece of pie? I mean, Meathead Goldwyn, everybody.
No. It's a pizza head tonight. And, is it time I got to check on my Apple Watch and see if it's a time to be on the Greg Rempe show?
Meathead, welcome to a Barbecue Central. And let me tell you, you have the gabagol and the scungil on your head?
Yeah, I got all the everything up here. And I got the prototype of the new Apple Watch here, too.
That's a very important piece. How you get it at a Meathead?
I know people at Apple.
Look at me when I'm talking. You know a people, right? This is what we say when we're talking. We know a people, right?
There's a funny story about that. My Italian-American wife, her brother lived on the south side of Chicago and knows a lot of people. And one day somebody stole the hubcaps off his car. And he was very upset. And the next day, they were returned.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Watch out.
No people to have that happen.
Yeah, you got to know people. By the way, Meathead, I'm sorry to do this. But this portion of the Barbecue Central show is brought to you by the Sam's Club National Barbecue Tour. You're familiar with this thing, right, Meathead? The Sam's Club? Yeah. 31 cities, $500,000 cash to be won, eternal bragging rights. It's coming really soon. The whole thing will be coming to an end. The next Sam's event is this Saturday, September 13th, in one of the birthplaces of barbecue, Kansas City, Missouri. That is a local event that will feed in the Midwest City, Oklahoma regional final that will take place on September 20th, which is that following week, and that will close out all of the regional finals, set to have the final the weekend after that, September 27th, in the home of Sam's Club, which is... Do you know? Meathead?
Benton, Arkansas?
Bentonville, Arkansas, that's right. That's right. So obviously tonight we're going to be talking about tuna casserole from what's on your head. I have to tell you, and I sent you a email last month, the next day after you were on. You're obviously on the second Tuesday of every month. CreativeAmazingRibs.com. And I forget exactly who it was. Maybe it was a Blake Moody or somebody like that. It was like, I have been asking for a Meathead pizza segment. What is up with this? And I said, hey, ask and thou shalt receive. And I'm a big fan of pizza on the grill. And I think especially over the last 2 or 3 years, there have been implements that have hit the market to really take advantage of the interest of doing pizza on the grill. So you were more than kind to allow a pizza segment when we could be talking about so much other worldly items in the world of barbecue and grilling. God. This is great, right?
Pizza's wonderful stuff.
So good.
And let's begin by dispelling the myth that it's junk food. For crying out loud, I mean, you've got bread, you've got vegetables, you've got cheese. I mean, this is a balanced diet, all on a slice.
Yeah.
Some fast food pizzas may be junky, but a good homemade pizza is great barbecue.
All right, so where is the best place to start when we talk about pizza? We could probably spend 2 segments on flour, if you're going to make the dough yourself, that could be probably a whole segment on its own. And making your own dough versus buying the Boboli style pizza shells that are already made, and we can go from there. So it all has to start with some type of a base, right?
Let's start with the dough, because I think that's what really differentiates the many styles of pizza.
That's
now,
right.
I've actually tried to categorize. People who know me will know that I'm goofy in this way. I tried to create a list of category of the different types of pizzas. Now, I mean, there's an infinite variety of toppings and everything, but when you try to figure out, okay, well, there's a New York pizza, there's a Chicago pizza, there's a Neapolitan pizza, there's a Roman pizza. What is it that really differentiates them? It's really the dough. It's really the crust. You can vary the toppings, but it's the crust that differentiates them. And I got to tell you, I have fear of flour. I always have. I'm meathead. I'm not pizza head. Oh, actually, maybe I am. But I have gradually overcome some of my fear of flour, especially when it comes to making pizzas. My wife taught me a Roman-style pizza dough, and I've got that recipe on the website. And to get ready for this show tonight, since we've been talking about pizza for a while, I've been working on pizza. I've been really, I have a test kitchen chef that works with me now 5 days a week, and he and I have been pounding the dough. And
also, you're working on pizza, correct?
Speaking of dough, I heard you speak earlier about Operation Barbecue Relief.
That's right.
And last month, you were kind enough to ask me about my new Pitmaster Club on AmazingRibs.com.
That's right.
5% of the income from Pitmaster Club goes to OBR. We are now giving them $500 a month.
All right.
And I am really honored and pleased to be supporting that venture this way. And I hope it goes up. Okay, starting with the dough. I'm going to be very broad in general, and when I say of a Roman-style dough, there's really no definitive Roman style. But when you talk about the Neapolitan style, there actually is a definitive style. There's actually the Pizza Police in Naples, where you are regulated as to what can go in your pizza dough, because the Naples pizza is such an icon. And they have an association, and if you don't make it according to their method, you can't be in the association, and they won't promote you, and you'll probably die a horrible death, and they'll find you at the bottom of the Adriatic Ocean.
Really?
The Adriatic Sea. Yeah, and this association is so big, there's actually affiliates in the United States, many of them, in fact. So that's a good place to start, because modern pizza probably began, I mean, they've been making pizza for centuries, my research teaches me, going back to Greek and Roman times. Possibly early pizzas were made on the inside of a shield. You know, you've got your military shield, you got the round thing. You take the dough, you lay it down, you put it over the campfire, and there's not a lot of time for it to rise, so you've got this flatbread. And then you start putting stuff on top of it, you know, like the Visigoths, and, you know, and you've got yourself a pizza. And that's probably, you know, somewhat how it started. And but the Neapolitan style is the simplest of all. It's just flour, water, yeast, and salt, and nothing else. And in fact, if you add anything else, like olive oil, you're out of the association.
Now, let me ask you something. How do you have to submit dough every day? Like, you know, a rabbi would come over to make sure everything is kosher, and you know, you can only use certain things, or you can't use certain things to make sure that it's kosher. Is this something similar where you would have a judge come over? Oh, I tasted the olive oil. You're out of the system.
Yeah, I'm sure they have inspectors.
Wow,
it's pretty easy
crazy
to tell. I mean, a Neapolitan-style dough is really easy to taste and tell. It's a very light, fluffy dough. It's crispy on the bottom, but it's light and fluffy. I sent you some pictures. Forgive me, Greg and audience, if there's a little stumbling over the pictures. You know, I like to show pictures.
Yep.
I had a hard drive crash today. Fortunately, I'm backed up. But I did send you the pizza margherita. And so if you can find the pizza margherita, that's your classic Neapolitan pizza. That's one of them.
Yep.
That's my homemade. And there's another one called Pizza Margarita under P. And that's
God, that looks good.
one. Yeah, that's gorgeous, isn't it? That's made at a one of the official Neapolitan pizza membership, and it's just flour, water dough, done in the huge pizza ovens.
Yeah.
And so the concept is, and I may ramble as I usually do, the hardest thing about getting pizza right, either indoors or out, is getting what I call simultaneous pizzagasm. And that is getting the bottom and the top cooked together at the same time. It's really easy to burn the snot out of the bottom and undercook the top. And if you've got sausage on the top and you undercook it, you have a health hazard. So it takes a little practice, just like all other forms of barbecue, to dial in your equipment and get it down pat. So you want to start with a very simple pizza like the Pizza Margarita, which is pretty much just the tomato sauce, a fresh mozzarella, like a buffalo mozzarella, a fresh mozzarella, and basil. I like a little more basil than that, but that's a classic margarita pizza. And they get it hot enough so that it blisters and blackens. And I think I sent you, let's see if I sent you an underside. If you find John's New York Pizza.
All right, give me 1 second.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I normally number them for you, Greg, but I didn't get to do that today. I had a terrible day. That's a New York pizza.
Yeah.
The typical thing about New York pizza is it's foldable. Now, there's oil in the dough. There's no oil in a Neapolitan dough. And it's foldable, and it's very simple. It's got that mozzarella. Not the buffalo mozzarella. It's got a regular grocery store type mozzarella that's like one molecule from plastic, and it stretches, and you get the long stringy stuff. But look at the bottom is what I want to show you. The classic pizzas have charring on the bottom, and there's this fine line between charring and burning, and you've got to learn to walk that line and how to get there. Every grill is going to do differently. I actually prefer my gas grills for doing pizza because you have more temperature control. And my setup typically, by the way, the dough recipes, I have a good Neapolitan recipe, and it's very close to the classic, and a good Roman recipe, which has oil in the dough. And the oiled dough is a little crunchier. It makes it a little thinner. It's not as poofy, and it's a thinner crust. Both of them work really well, and I got them up on the website just today, or the Neapolitan one just went up today, in honor of this show. With the gas grill, I've learned that you want to use a stone. I've had very good luck with a metal pan. You can use a metal pan, but a stone is better if you can get one. And nowadays, stones are made differently than they used to be. They used to be just clay. But now they're made from a special refractory material, which is a heat resistant, and it absorbs heat and holds heat so that you can put cold dough on it and it doesn't phase it. And they pour this stuff in a liquid fashion into a mold, and it hardens, and so they don't crack as easily as they used to. Used to be you could crack pizza stones easily. They can really handle it. And you need to get it in there like 30 minutes early and get that stone really good and hot. And on my particular rig, I like around 550 to 600 degrees. So that's direct heat. All burners on high. Fire it up. But what happens is once it gets hot, it can overshoot easily. It can go to 650, 700. And so what I'll do is I find it necessary, and everybody who listens knows I'm a thermometer fanatic. It won't surprise you, Greg, to show the IR thermometer that I have sent you a picture of. Yeah. You've probably seen these. They're not very useful for anything else in bar. You can't tell meat temperature with them. I never recommend them for barbecue except pizza. Man, they have a laser-guided sensor. You point it at the stone, and you can get your stone reading. And there's a variety. They range in price. And you can get them for $75 or so. But if you're really serious about pizza, that make a world of difference because you can dial in your pizza stone temp. And that's really helpful. And when I hit 550 to 600, I turn off the burners underneath. Now, I'll talk about charcoal in a minute. I turn off the burners underneath, and so just the side burners are on.
Uh-huh.
And that'll hold that stone steady. The issue then becomes, what is the air temp? And that's one of the reasons you really want to preheat. You want to get the entire interior of your grill hot, the dome, the sides, the bottoms, so that they're all glowing. And to get the toppings done. A lot of people like to make the dough, grill it first on one side, flip it over, then put the toppings on, and I call that grilled pizza, as opposed to pizza on the grill.
Uh-huh.
And I know it's a semantic thing. Pizza on the grill is real pizza. Grilled pizza is dough that you cook on one side, flip it over, and quick throw the toppings on, and there's not room for many toppings, and they cook fast, and so you really can't get things like sausage. If you're going to put sausage on there, you got to cook it in a frying pan.
Yeah,
that's a great way to cook pizza, by the way. I've had some really good grilled pizza, but to do real pizza on the grill, you want to just do it like they do in the restaurants. Roll out your dough, work it out, put your toppings on, and put the whole thing on the grill.
But thin, right? Thinnish. These Neapolitan-style crusts, they need overnight to rise, and they do get poofy. And now the Roman doughs are thinner still, and that's a preference. If you want them thicker, you can get them thicker. You can make them smaller. You can add more dough. You can play with this, and you can customize it to your own taste. Because really, you're just making bread. You're just baking bread. The difference is you got a lot of stuff on top. And that's a problem for the thermodynamics, because if there's a lot of liquid like tomato sauce on top, that's cooling the surface. And it doesn't get hotter than 212. Even though your stone is 600 underneath and the air may be 400 above, that liquid's going to stick around 200. It'll steam like the dickens. So you've got to really fiddle with the... and it may take you 2 or 3 attempts. I don't not like to express my failures here on this show, because I think it's very important for me to make sure that I point it out so nobody else feels like they're not allowed to make a mistake. And I have a Bubba Keg, the original Bubba Keg, when it was made by InZone years ago. Now it's whatever version it is today. And I have a pizza stone.
Mm-hmm.
But I use hardwood lump charcoal. I get it going to about 550, 600 degrees. But here's what I find. If I go a little too thick on the crust, I will burn the fucking bottom of the pizza every goddamn time. Every time. And then I've ruined 2 pizzas. And the first one might be broaching too much done underneath. But that second one might only be on for 3 or 4 minutes. And this isn't thin crust pizza. This is a little thicker than I would probably want to go. So after 4 minutes, that bottom is torched.
Uh-huh.
And I have nothing done on the top. And I'm screwed, and I look like a complete a-hole in front of my family because, oh, you're the grill master. Yeah, you can't do pizza for crap. But when I do it right, my wife makes this grilled chicken and red pepper pizza. It's phenomenal. But, man, you screw the bottom up, you might as well be eating cat food.
There are a couple of things that really help when you're working with charcoal, and that is to count coals. And that's why I like briquettes. 10 coals produce less heat than 20 coals.
Right.
And if you count coals, and working on a Kamado is a really good technique because they have great insulative process. They're ovens, really. They're really great ovens. But, Greg, are you working with an IR thermometer?
No, absolutely not.
It's all the difference in the world, because now you know for sure what temperature that dough is sitting on. It's sitting on that hot stone, and you don't know when you're putting it on there, and that's what's going to determine the burning of the bottom, and you've got to watch that at all times. If you've got a gun, you can really control that a lot better, because we've talked about thermodynamics before, but you say it's getting up to 600 in there, but you're reading the dome thermometer.
Yes, that's right.
And that's air temp. and now you can put your hand in a 600 degree oven, and you can hold it there for 30 seconds or so, right?
Yeah.
Put your hand inside a 600 degree oven, and then touch the pizza stone.
Right.
How long do you think you can keep it there?
About as quick as I can get it away.
Degrees.
That's right. Yeah.
The air is 600 degrees. The difference is there's more energy stored in that pizza stone. And even though they're both 600, you'll burn the snot out of your hand if you dare touch that stone. So the stone transmits a lot more heat than the air does. And you need to know what that stone temp is.
So is it safe to say when you're dealing with charcoal, aside from the counting, which is great, because you can't count lump, I guess, and lump doesn't work really well in the Kamados. However, is it safer to run it if you don't have the laser gun? Is it safer to run the dome temperature at a 350 to 400 degree situation instead of taking it up into the 600, 650 degree range?
Well, I mean, each oven is going to be different now. Remember, you're trying to cook the top, and the top is being cooked by the air, and the bottom is being cooked by the stone. So you've got the energy in the air, which is much less than the energy in the stone.
Yeah.
And you're looking for that simultaneous pizza-gasm, and it's tricky. And that's why the gun is really a handy thing to have if you're going to do this on an ongoing, regular basis. And I think the ratio was somewhere like 3 to 2. I think for me, I'm discovering if it's 600 degree on the stone, 400 degree for the air is about right. I haven't quite got this wired yet, but it's going to really differ, say, on a Kamado, where you've got all of this insulation generating heat. And one of the things I've discovered, and you guys, if you're listening, they may still be there. The best thing, we were going to talk about some of the equipment that's out there for
that's
BBQ Guru.
right.
The single best tool I found is there was an outfit, and they were selling them on Amazon. Last I checked, there were 30 left. It's a little fan. I got it right here. I think I showed it to you before.
Here you go. Yeah, the one you hang off on the side of your grill.
It goes into the rotisserie slot. Get this, Greg.
I got it.
It goes
right
into the
there.
rotisserie slot, and it's metal, and it turns your gas grill into a convection oven.
Wow.
This really makes a difference in delivering heat. And the company's going out of business. There were like 30 left. I saw they were $35 a pop.
All right, what's the name of that thing? Because I'm going to get asked here in the chat room here in just a second. What's the name of that thing?
Turbo Q. Turbo Q. They were on Amazon, and
the letter
like
Q.
$35 a pop.
Turbo, the letter Q.
I don't know if there's any left. I'm trying to figure out another way. I was actually playing with the the Dragon, trying to figure out a way to make the Dragon do this, because getting hot air moving through your gas grill is a really good technique. Chicken, man. We talked about chicken.
Yep.
It really is great for chicken skins, and it's really good for pizza. But I've tried the pizza kettle. I think I sent you a picture of that thing.
Wait, hold on one second. Let me back you down just for a second.
Kettle
We're at
pizza.
we're at the breaking point here. So just hang back, have some port, and I'll pick back up with you on the accessories here on the other side of the reed here. Quickly, you know what would good on some pizza, master of Segway? El Diablo Mustard, that's right. Whether you are tailgating for a college or pro team, September is kickoff season for diehard football fans, and El Diablo Mustard wants to turn your tailgate into a blazing affair. Try adding some El Diablo's fiery habanero, roasted chipotle, flaming jalapeno, or spicy mango into your favorite tailgate recipes, and you'll add a new flavor kick that's hot and intense. El Diablo features 6 bold flavors that taste great and are hot as hell. Try mango for a sweet island heat. Add a kick of Southwest with roasted chipotle. Try steakhouse for a zing of Worcestershire and tangy tomato. Make an ordinary dog an instant chili dog with El Diablo Texas chili. Try jalapeno on some hot bacon, or burger for jalapeno puree and a mustard zing. Or try habanero for flavor inferno. You daring types demand for all heat all day. You can connect with El Diablo on the Twitter or on the Facebooks for recipes, tips, and giveaways. Bold flavors, great taste, hot as hell. El Diablo Mustard is the mustard that bites back. And again, the website, eldiablomustard.com. Happy to have them as a sponsor of this show. I did have, as the read says, try some jalapeno on a hot burger Sunday because we had little going on around the... rarely we have this, but we had little going on with the kids and stuff after sporting events, so I whipped up some homemade burgers and dropped some jalapeno right on there. Top notch. Little pickles, cheese, mayonnaise, little jalapeno mustard from El Diablo, some ketchup, and man, pretzel bun. Love pretzel buns. Don't get me started. eldiablomustard.com. That's eldiablomustard.com. More with Meathead and Pizza right after this. Stick around.
Smoke. Call 877-448-0433 to get on the air. Now, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. Back with Meathead Goldwyn from AmazingRibs.com. Don G had posted something, Meathead. Charcoal Companion Turbo Q Turbocharged Smoker discontinued by manufacturer.
That's the one. He's got it.
$40, free shipping.
Yeah.
Where does it say how many are left?
When I checked with them about a month ago, there were like 35 left. Because I actually called the manufacturer and I said, please don't discontinue this thing. I can help you sell them because I love them.
Right.
And they said, we just discontinue them. Oh. So they had 35 left. So there's a few left in there. I don't get any kickback or anything, but I just think they're the coolest things, and they really made great chicken skins, and they make great pizza. It's convection air. You know, it's like a convection oven.
All right. So when we talk about stuff in the barbecue and grilling world, I mean, really, that's what we all want. We want the cookers, of course, but then we want all the gadgets and knickknacks that go along with it.
Gadgets.
What about gadgets or add-ons or bolt-ons or standalones that you might want to consider for the betterment of pizza outside?
I sent you a picture of the kettle pizza.
Yeah. Hold on one second. I'll find that.
Throw that up if you can.
Yep.
Nope.
Give me 1 second. Go ahead and start describing it, and then watch the magic happen.
It's an attachment for the Weber kettle, which is the most ubiquitous grill out there. And it's a really cool concept, and everybody's been writing about it. The New York Times, Consumer Reports, because it looks like a real pizza oven. It's got a slit in the front, and it's really complicated. They call it a tombstone pizza stone that fits in there, so it looks like a tombstone, and it's open around the sides and the back. And a couple of the models actually have a pizza stone that goes above the pizza, and then the flames come up. You put the wood in the back, and the flames come up, and they wrap over the top of the. And I have had 2 models of this, including they have a low-end one for $150, and they have a high-end one for $475.
Oh.
I've got the $475 Serious Eats model, which was designed by one of my personal heroes, Kenji Lopez Alt, and he's just brilliant, and I admire and love everything he does. But he lives in an apartment, and he doesn't do a lot of grilling, and he's really whiffed on this one. Uh-oh. This is just, and the people that make this thing are so sincere, and they love pizza, and they're trying to, and it makes good pizza, but you don't need it. You can make really good pizza on a plain old Weber kettle. You don't need all of this frim-fram and stuff. And it actually, I think, is self-defeating, having all that air coming out the front. You're lifting the dome up. You want the heat reflecting off the dome. In fact, the best kettle pizzas I've made, I've actually raised the stone above the grate with a couple of bricks to get it closer to the dome so it reflects more heat onto the surface. You got to fiddle. You got to think about the physics here. You got to get the top and the bottom done together, and it's tricky, and the outdoor weather gets involved too. Charcoal pizzas do get smokier flavor. I like the flavor better than the gas grill pizzas. There's not a lot of smoke flavor, even on a charcoal pizza. Even if you think about it, when you go to the restaurants where they make wood-burning ovens and it's wood-burning, you don't taste a lot of smoke in it because the wood is so thoroughly combusted, and the smoke goes out and up the chimney. You just don't taste it. Oh, you got something. That I've done that very same rig. Oh my God, it almost looks like my setup.
I was going to say, this could be you, right?
I've done exactly that. It's okay. It just doesn't make a huge difference. I've tried them all. Honest to God, Ryan and I did everything imaginable from 9 to 5 for 2 solid weeks. We were covered in white powder for 2 solid weeks. No, dough. And just keep it simple. Practice. You can't expect to not get it right on the first pass. Just like the first ribs you did, and just like the first turkey you did. You're going to have to play with it to get the system down.
I mean, look at this. This is called Franken-Weber. This guy has a Weber kettle grill, and he has basically he's put that refractory brick stuff that you would find in a traditional, or like a Forno Bravo or something like that, and made it and used his Weber kettle. And then obviously looks like he's got some kind of a fire thing going on here. But look at, so he's casted it from the dome. Do you know what I'm saying? So he's put this. Look at this thing. Is this awesome or what?
I have, honest to God, I've tried all of it. Well, I haven't tried this.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
Now that is something else.
I just don't find it necessary. You can't. One of the issues. Oh, that's gorgeous. One of the issues is if you want charring on the top, it's a little tricky. But I did send you a picture of my homemade margarita. And where is that in there?
I'll find it again. I will.
Yeah, you showed it earlier, and I made you put it away. Where the hell is it?
It is almost here. It's almost here. There it is. Nope, that's not it.
That's the store-bought.
Hold on. Here it is. Right here. Boom. Nope. Right here. Nope. Yep. No.
Nope.
God damn it. Hold on. Oh, that's the problem. I'm using the wrong thing. Margarita. Oh, Lord.
That's the Roman pizza.
What did I do with it? Oh, here it is. I did it again.
I think it's called
this
margarita
is yours.
pizza.
That's yours right there.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. That's one of mine. And you can see I'm getting a little. Now that's done on a gas grill. And
it looks great.
I'm getting beautiful bottoms. I didn't send you the picture of the bottoms. I'm getting beautiful charry bottoms. It's a really light, fluffy crust. On the website, you can see pictures of a cross section of the crumb. And I've got the recipe for this. They're just gorgeous. Now that's just a simple margarita. I'm a big fan of capicola on top of them, even better than prosciutto. All kinds of stuff. Figs, goat cheese, a little balsamic vinegar, and then when you're done, you sprinkle it with some arugula, fresh arugula, and a drizzle of olive oil. Oh, those are good. You can play with all kinds of toppings. I mean, you guys know what you like on a pizza.
Yep.
You don't want to lay it on too thick so that things don't cook. But all kinds of fun things you can play with. The secret is getting the crust and getting the balance of air and stone temp. And a gun really does help. And one of the guys in the chat room posted a link to an amazingly cheap one. I'd never seen one that cheap. I don't know how reliable it is. For $35 for a gun. And you know what else you can use the gun for? I use it for checking leaks around the windows of my house. You know, okay, this window leaks. Let's get some more insulation in here. Let's get some caulking around there. You'll find use for it. I mean, it is useful for, like, if you're going to griddle burgers or steaks.
Right.
And I grill burgers and steaks, but occasionally I griddle salmon. Occasionally with a gun, you can point it at that griddle, and they come in, even indoors when I'm pan frying. I've learned that knowing the temperature is really a nice thing to do.
Yeah. Now, in review of some of the other more popular styles or regions of pizza, with the 5 minutes we have left, why don't we go ahead and hit those, and maybe you could tell us a little bit about each.
I sent you a picture of Al Forno.
Yeah.
And this is important. I hit AL. Start with the A's.
Hold on. Well, yeah, but it doesn't come like that, of course. Otherwise, it would be great. This is it right here.
There you go. This is Al Forno Restaurant in Providence, Rhode Island. They make wonderful pizzas, and they're made by this method of you make the dough, and it's a very oily dough. They throw it on the grill. They grill one side. Then they flip it over, and they throw the toppings on in a hurry.
Yep.
And you got to move quick. And you can see there's not a lot of toppings. It's sauce, a sprinkle of cheese, and shredded green onions. And you get a really crunchy, because there's oil in the dough. And it's an absolutely wonderful example of grilled pizza on the grill. No, grilled pizza. Great. I got to get my own terminology.
That's right, grilled pizza.
Grilled pizza. And this is a fun technique, and you can do this. And you get a really crunchy crust, and it can still be fluffy, and it's a lot of fun. And I've done this exact recipe. I haven't posted it to the website yet. It works. You just got to mix some more oil in the dough. I sent you a picture of Sicilian pizza.
Yep, I saw that. Here it is. One of my favorites, by the way. Love it.
Yep. Grandma pizzas, they call them. They're done in a pan. They're usually rectangular. This one has thin slices of fresh tomato. You can put pepperoni in them. Pan pizzas, but not to be confused with pan deep dish pizzas. They tend to be a thicker crust. You can vary these crusts to your own thickness desire. Again, you got to make sure they cook through. The thicker the crust, you have to have more heat reaching the center of the crust to make sure it's not wet and doughy. To do that, you got to dial down the temperature of your stone.
Yeah.
Because if your stone's real hot, it's going to burn the bottom before the center of the dough cooks. So now you got to come down to maybe 450 or 500. It takes longer to cook, but you have essentially a loaf of bread with a topping on it, and that's a wonderful pizza to eat.
The Sicilian also, to me, seems to have just a little bit more of a more robust spiciness to it, or the herbs to it seem to be a little bit more prevalent.
Well, a lot of that goes into the sauce. We haven't even touched on sauce.
Oh.
But, you know, I mean, you got to have oregano. I saw my hero, Alton Brown. You know, this guy's actually doing stand-up comedy now. He's going around the country doing a 2-hour stand-up show where he talks about cooking. And in Chicago, he showed up at one of the theaters, and they said, of course, they won't let him build a fire or grill or cook or have an oven on the stove at this theater because we have these great Chicago fire residual safety laws. So he made a pizza and cooked it with the heat of spotlights that are used for illuminating like football stadium.
Yeah, right.
And so he's got these spotlights on this monster grill, and he cooked the pizza that way. And he talks about the first fight he had with his new wife was over how much oregano in this in the sauce. And at that point, my wife and I both looked at each other because we argue about that all the time.
Hey, man, it's got to be love then, right? Arguing over oregano.
Hey, we're going to have our 40th this week.
40th day?
40th anniversary this week. And when the worst arguments are over how much oregano you're doing, all right.
That's right.
The Mystic Pizza. I have the Mystic Pizza calzone. I actually made a hegira, a pilgrimage to Mystic Pizza.
This is one of my favorite things. Is the calzone. I love pizza, but man, if the calzone is good, that could be better than pizza.
I haven't done one on the grill yet. I need to do that. That's their calzone, and it's basically a regular round pizza dough. You put the filling on one side, and then you flop it over and crimp it up and bake it. And I presume you've got to flip it to get it evenly cooked on both sides.
Yep.
And you can see it's kind of leaking cheese on top. And then they put the marinara sauce on the side. But that's Mystic Pizza in Rhode Island. I don't know if anybody saw the movie, but it's a fun movie. And then there's, of course, there's a picture of the restaurant.
Yep. Mystic
Pizza. And then I sent you a picture of classic Bacino's, one of the better deep dish restaurants.
Oh, my.
Yeah. Anthony Bourdain and a number of others. In fact, most notably, Jon Stewart. If you want a real laugh, you got to go see Jon Stewart ranting and raving about Chicago pizza. It's a casserole. It's just a different animal. I've got a recipe for that I'm working on that it works pretty well. You do it in a cast iron frying pan, and there's a lot of cornmeal in the dough. And then you put down at the bottom the cheese on the bottom, because that protects the dough from the water leaking through from the tomato sauce. Then goes the sausage on top of the cheese, then the tomato sauce, and there's a lot of cheese in these things, as you can see.
Oh, yeah.
I have trouble digesting them in my old age.
All right, well, this is going to be it, Meathead. We're running out of time, so we're going to have to stop at the, what is that called, Bacino's?
Bacino's is one of my local restaurants.
Yeah. Oh, man, it looks absolutely phenomenal.
It's a deep dish pizza. I've got the on the website, Pepe's White Clam Pizza, California Pizza, St. Louis Pizza, which is a whole nother animal, flatbreads, and French pissaladière. Come visit my pizza section. Have fun. Let me know what you think.
Who knew pizza could take over a show just like this? AmazingRibs.com is the website. Check it out. Join the Pitmasters Club. Obviously, a portion of that going to Operation Barbecue, so support that. Meathead, always enjoy the time, and we will see you next month, my friend.
Regards to the Cleveland Cavalier Barbecue.
Well, thank you. There he is, Meathead Goldwyn, AmazingRibs.com. Always enjoy the talk about. This time with pizza on topic. Everybody loves a good pizza. All right. Little behind. We'll catch up here for top of the hour. Let me talk to you quickly about the folks at the BBQ Guru automatic food temperature control devices. A product that, when sure, keeps it there all the way through the cook. Not too good to be true. Real-life technology that you can take advantage of right now. If you're a busy working professional like me, or perhaps you are on the run with kids doing errands, you're a domestic engineer, you don't have time to sit around and do all the pit temperature stuff, the Guru allows you to throw on some meat, and you're off to do whatever it is you need to get done. Guru will help you maintain that pit temperature. Check out the CyberQ Wi-Fi. Check out the Party Q and some of the other units that they have. You can do that by visiting thebbqguru.com. If you're in the market for a cooker, check no further than the Onyx Oven. The Onyx Oven has been winning in competition circuits as well as in the backyards for years now. Fully insulated, holds a lot of meat, accommodates the half and full pans for food service, working seamlessly with any BBQ Guru pit temperature control devices. Again, do yourself a favor, head on over to thebbqguru.com, check out their products, and if you have any questions about what to order, call them directly. 800-288-GURU, that's 800-288-GURU. They'll make sure you're outfitted with exactly what you need to get you up and running right out of the box. BBQ Guru, a breakthrough in barbecue technology. We're back to wrap up the first hour right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
All right, back at it, 216-220-0966. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Thanks again to Meathead Goldwyn. The website again, AmazingRibs.com. Most heavily trafficked barbecue and grilling website on the face of the earth. The Pitmasters Club is still taking membership. I think it's $24 for the year. Portion of that is being donated to Operation Barbecue Relief. Don't forget, as I told you about in the first hour, you do have the chance of entering in the raffle for Hog with a Heart. That will be the ribs class, which is on the 3rd of October. It's a $275 value. Raffle tickets at $25 a piece. Go and send me $25 to my PayPal address, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. That's the PayPal address for the show. And reference Hog with a Heart or ribs class at American Royal or whatever, just so I know. And then we'll see how many we come with. We'll have the raffle drawing next week, next Tuesday, live on the show. And we will see how it goes from there. So easily enough, you're making a donation to a great cause, Operation Barbecue Relief, to help keep it funded. And you could possibly be winning your way for a mere $25 donation into a $275 ribs and pork class by top pitmasters on the industry right now. All right, we are going to step away and reload for the second hour. Thanks again to Meathead Goldwyn, AmazingRibs.com, Talking Pizza. You can get it on podcast if you're just tuning in and you missed it. But gear up for the second hour, folks. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
This is Bobby Rumpy from Cleveland, Ohio, and you're listening to Barbecue Central.
From my heart and from my hand, why don't people understand my intention?
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan. So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle.
Charbono! It's all about the charbono, dude!
Succulent fish, what?
He ate 54 wieners.
But listen, Lavernius, shake a face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Who? Top men.
All right, just like that, we are into the second hour. You have found, by choice or perhaps by mistake, the Barbecue Central Show. This is the show that talks about all things important to the world of barbecue and grilling. We do this show. This show does transmit from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio. Ask anybody. It's the barbecue capital of the North Coast. Don't know what the North Coast is? Read about it. Google it. Not going to talk about that tonight. If you want to jump in the show tonight, 216-220-0966. You can also email me, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Still to come tonight on the show, by the way, Clint Cantwell from Smoke in the Eye. We'll also be talking about September 11th to round out the last interview segment of the show. So if you do have thoughts that you would like to get off your chest or let people be made aware of, I'll be happy to put you up, and we can talk about it. 216-220-0966. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. That's the email address. Coming up on next week's show, the pitmaster of Big Poppa Smokers, not afraid to speak the mind, Sterling Ball will be on the show. And I said I would. Took a 2-week hiatus after a 3-week run of substantial awesome. to round out the competition roundtable. It will be the chicken edition. The competition chicken roundtable will be on the show next week. We might have a competition winner of some contest over the week. I mean, and then the week after that, man, I'm excited. Some great products to talk about, but a 12-year NFL vet, a pretty good player, by the way, Reggie Kelly will be joining me in 2 weeks' time. Looking forward to that. The 2014 Sam's Club Series rolled in to Richmond, Virginia this past weekend. This was a regional final, the second regional in as many weeks, by the way, seeing the top 10 teams move to the national finals that will be in Bentonville, Arkansas on September 27th that I already mentioned earlier in the show. The top 10 teams moving on to the national finals. Remember, regionals kick away 10 teams to the national finals. In order, Grand Champagne plus 700 with a 701 and High Change Pig Whisperers. Congrats. Reserve Grand Champion makes some of the best cookers in the stick burner fashion out there. Not having a bad competition season either. Lang BBQ Smokers. Boom. Barry and Erica take third place. Swiggin' Pig fourth. There's No Place Like Smoke fifth place. Booty Q sixth. Booty Q! Booty Q! Always do that. Smoke Me Silly seventh. Cajun Blaze eighth. Qin, Stewin, and Bruin ninth. By the way, most recent guest of the show, Karma. And rounding out the top 10, all racked up barbecue. You had a gap of 17 points between first and 10th. The 701 takes the win, a 684, and Middle Change takes 10th place, and those 10 advance to Bentonville. Again, that's September 27th, so just in a couple weeks of time from now. Email from Matt Hansen to the show. Greg, my name is Matt Hansen. I just started a new team called Crooked Pigs Barbecue. I competed in my first KCBS-style competition this weekend. It was the Idaho State Championship, and the winner qualified for the World Food Championships in Vegas. We had some stiff competition, including Phil and Lou Barbecue. I got second place chicken. Not bad. Third place pork. That's not bad. First place brisky. And how did he do? All right. Instant chat room. How do you think a third place pork, a first place brisky, and a second place chicken, what does that get you in an overall competition most times? Oh, that's right. He won Grand Champion his very first damn barbecue competition. Boom. Sorry, crooked. In the several months leading up to the competition, I listened to your show as much as humanly possible. The roundtables are literally priceless. I want to thank you so much for doing what you do. I could not have done what I did this weekend without you and your program. Words can't describe how much fun my team and I had. We owe our success to you and the great guests on your show. Thanks again, Matt Hansen. Matt, congrats to you, buddy. Yeah. Hey, it ain't me. No thanks to me. I just bring on the experts. Trust me, I'm giving you a 0 in technical value to help win that Grand Championship. I mean, cook a mean backyard, but you're not going to see me out on a competition trip. But having top teams in the industry right now going over those roundtables, yeah, I mean, to this day, the very first set of barbecue roundtables I did back like 2007 it was a brisket roundtable. It was Leanne Whippen. It was Fast Eddie Marin. It was Ray Lampe, and it was Jim Minion. That was the very first barbecue roundtable ever on the history of any radio, internet or otherwise, where teams that, those people at that point considered some of the best cooks out there back then, gave it all up. Gave every single bit of it up. And you would be surprised, perhaps, that a lot of those guys back then didn't inject. Not necessary. That's when injection was actually just starting to become the mainstay. I think half of them were doing it, or maybe they were all doing it, but some of them were reluctant or felt like they were being forced into injecting at that point when they really didn't feel like they needed to, or that it was an evolution that didn't need to have happen in the competition scene. But, man, getting 3 out of 4 calls, winning a category, almost winning a second category. Well, hell, almost winning all 3 of 4 categories. Very impressive. So, Matt, congratulations. And more than anything, A, glad that you like the show. B, and perhaps more than that, so this would be A, thank you for listening, period. Thank you for listening. You know, it's emails like this that pump me up, that make me want to continue to do the show and know that I'm out there reaching at least one person and giving them some entertainment value, some good, logical information that they can apply, whether it be in a competition setting or not. I would like to think that you would be able to do that. And getting that kind of success right off the bat, I think it's easy to say you're going to have a great time at the World Food Championships. You might have to come on and do a segment after that to give a cooker's recap, especially if you win the whole thing. And, continued success. You know what the bad news is about winning the very first grand championship at the barbecue contest you just cooked for the very first time? You know what the downfall is? From now on out, you have to win all of them to keep up the pace.
Get that big stuff out of here.
You know, bar set high. Yeah, I don't think you set the bar higher than that, my friend. You win the first one, there's only one place you can go from here on out. I am not. A lot of people were emailing me earlier saying, hey, are you going to talk about Ray Rice? No. I am not going to talk about Ray Rice. I am not going to tell you why I will I'm not. I'm not going to tell you why I wouldn't talk about him. If you can't figure out why I won't talk about him, you should question yourself.
Get that big stuff out of here.
I will take 30 seconds to reference the passing of one of the funniest women ever on the face of the earth. And if you aren't familiar with exactly how funny she was, you should Google, YouTube, find old CDs, tapes, 8-tracks, records, get your mitts on it. Joan Rivers obviously died from plastic surgery. But man, if you have never heard how funny she, forget about the crap on the the fashion police BS. I'm talking about the 50 years that preceded that and the accomplishments that she made in the industry, being a female comic. If you're a fan of comedy and funny, man or woman, nary a difference. Get your hands on some archives of Joan Rivers stand-up when she would sit in for Johnny Carson. Classic. Got a little long in the tooth on the plastic surgery stuff, but funny nonetheless. Folks, a quick public service announcement from Barbecue Brothers and the sisters out there. One of your show sponsors, Stephen DiFranco from Stephen DiFranco Jewelers, a self-admitted barbecue junkie, just recently got out of barbecue rehab because he's so big of a junkie. There's a lot of holidays are going to be coming up. We don't want to do the same old thing that we do for mom or for dad or for whoever it is. Think about watches, Bulova watches. Not spending a lot of money. You don't have to. Bulova watches, stylish, affordable, starting under $200. You have a Precisionist. I have a Precisionist. It's the most accurate watch in the world. Then you have the Accutron line of watches as well. High-end without the high price, the Cadillac of the Bulova line. This watch will start just under $600. It goes up from there, but the Bulova Accutron watch gives you that high-end style, quality, and lifestyle without breaking the bank. Now, maybe you're a gadget junkie. Citizens is perfect for the gadget guy or gal. It's got eco-drive technology, converts light into energy, powering your watch perfectly and accurately. Need a timer for your barbecue cooking? Some Citizens have multiple timers along with alarms and multiple time zones. Then you got my man Philip of Philip & Company making those cottage watches over there on the west side of Cleveland. They start just under $900. They are registered with Philip himself, numbered and registered. So here's what you do. Visit StephenDiFranco.com. That's Stephen DiFranco, DiFranco, or give him a call, 440-943-2700. That's 440-943-2700 after you find what you like on the website. Give Steve a call, ask for Steve, tell him you're a barbecue brother or sister, and then he's going to give you the real price. A lot of that stuff on the website, he can't give you the full discounted price through manufacturers' rules and regulations. But once you call him, then he can open it up. A lot of that stuff is obviously going to be shipping for free. The engraving, the batteries for life on the watches, set the time for you. You get that watch care package, extra year of warranty on those watches when you get a watch through Stephen DiFranco. No reason that you shouldn't be checking him out, at least price shop. Let him ask you a bunch of really good questions, not get upsold by those chumps in the mall at the chain stores. StephenDiFranco.com, 440-943-2700. Sweet Blue is up next. Stick around.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, we are back, 216-220-0966. Greg at the BBQCentralShow.com. This portion of the Barbecue Central Show brought to you by CookinPellets.com. That's right, CookinPellets.com. I just ran out of CookinPellets.com. Your number one source for quality wood pellets for all of your pellet-driven cookers. Visit CookinPellets.com for more information or to purchase. You can also purchase at a up-and-coming website called Amazon.com. CookinPellets.com, proud sponsor of this show. Proud to have them sponsor this show. Joining me now, a TV sensation, a editor of Grilling.com, a pitmaster of Smoke Into Eye barbecue competition cooking team, and a guy I've met in person and seen win hundreds and hundreds of dollars in a gambling scenario. It's Clint Cantwell joining me. Clint, how are you, buddy?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm fine. Thank you for asking. Clint, hit the camera button on your computer so we can see that lovely face.
I don't know where the camera button is. Oh, I got you.
There you go. Here we come. Here he is. He's coming up. Here he's coming up. Oh, there he is! Sporting a stylish Kingsford cap. What does that say underneath it in the script? Is that like Dale Jr.'s autograph?
Kingsford Racing.
Oh, Kingsford Racing. Who's the car there? Who's their driver?
Don Geiger can chime in on that. I'm not really a NASCAR fan.
I'm not either, but through work, I should be because, they're one of my customers. But, I know my team, I should say. But I forget who the Kingsford guy. Racing, do we have to? AJ Allmendinger. Not a joke. Not a joke with that name. Yeah, good old A.J. Allmendinger. He's an Allmendinger, Clint. All right, so let's talk about, we can talk about a couple of different things here, but first and foremost, you had your episode of American Grilled. This is on the Travel Channel. This might even precede DiVaQ's show, right? Is that just what I see?
It might. Yeah, it was on at
the lead in
8 o'clock Central.
Yeah. All right. So tell me about the show and what drew your interest. Were you invited? Were you invited to be on the show, or did you have to try out for the show? Like, how do you get up for this kind of a deal?
Yeah, it was actually a casting. We did a Skype interview and a written interview, and they narrowed it down to 4 people in every city. It was 13 cities total. 13 separate 1-hour segments for the show, and mine was the Memphis episode.
How many people were up for the Memphis one? Do you have any idea? They say, it's between you and 700 other people that we're going to be Skyping with, or what?
Yeah, I think it was like 10,000.
Are you kidding me?
Anywhere between 40 and 10,000.
Between 40 and 10,000. So when you're doing the Skype video, do you just immediately take the shirt off and you're like, I'm Clint Cantwell? Start showing like hair and whatnot, or what questions are they asking?
Face on my belly and made it talk.
Yeah. What questions are they asking you in a Skype interview?
Oh, how much you cook? What's the craziest thing that you've cooked? Really basic type questions. Why should you be on the show, and what are you going to do to win?
Do you feel like you have to tell them an answer, or do you feel comfortable enough just giving an honest answer and figuring if it's good enough they'll take you, and if not, they, who cares? You don't care if you're on the show or not.
Yeah, I mean, I said I am who I am, and I'm going to beat the F-U-C-K out of anyone that you throw at me. So that's that.
And did you spell it out, or did you just say it?
I said it.
Yeah. Wow. Don't say that on here. I'll hang up on you. All right, so you make it through the interview process, and then they call you back and say, okay, Clint, you have made it onto the finalists, and here's you and 2 other people are going to be on the show, or how does the great news come into you?
Yeah, I got a couple of follow-up calls from some producers on the show, and then there was a bit of radio silence, and I got a call saying, you made it on the show, you're going to compete against 3 other folks, and we're going to film next week. So it was very little turnaround on it, and virtually no details on what the show actually entailed.
Did you know, how did you... You said it was an open casting call. Did they say, if you're a backyard griller and you can make anything out of anything, then this is the one you want to try? And or did you assume that it might be like a chopped type of a setup, given the amount of people that were going to be competing against you?
Yeah, I had a general feeling that it was going to be a chop type show, that they were going to throw stuff at us and try to get it done. But, they didn't give us any real insight into the time that was involved, if it was a elimination type thing or any of that, until we sat down with the producers the day before filming started, and they kind of went through the rules and everything for the show.
Let me ask you something. If you get down there, you commit to the show, but then you're talking to the producer, and he throws something on the left field, and you're like, man, that's bad for the brand, or I don't believe in that personally, or whatever. Could you just ditch out of the show, and they got Joe S. the Ragman in the back in the bullpen in case somebody drops out, or what would happen if you were just completely against or not on board with what the actual rules of the thing were?
Yeah, we actually had an understudy, a 5th person, who was there if any of us dropped out or had an allergic reaction to shrimp or something like that. So he was basically sitting around hoping that one of us would drop out.
Right. He made the trip just in hopes of something tragic going on to fill in. All right, so as they say, the show would have gone on no matter what. All right, so you where was this again?
We filmed down on Beale Street here in Memphis.
All right, Memphis, that's right.
Yeah, and it was back in April, I think. So, I've been sitting on the results of the show for 5 months or whatever.
You have to sign contract for that?
Kids or anything like that.
They can't tell anybody, and you sign a big contract?
Thick contract.
All right, so what happens... We'll get to the show in a second. This stuff is way more interesting. What happens if you spill your guts on the Facebook or on the Twitter that, hey, just back from Memphis, totally won, hashtag F the contract... and suck it, double? What would happen to you?
I actually don't know. It had a lot of verbiage in there about losing your house, and there was monetary stuff involved. But honestly, I don't know if they'd just scrap an entire episode or what would happen in that case.
You remember?
So I just kept quiet. I mean, I had $10,000 on the line. So
yeah, right. You had good motivation. Because you would recall that when we were in the metropolis of Bell, Missouri for the very first Kingford Invitational, like we were tweeting out as they were happening results for a TV show that was getting recorded that wasn't going to air for months. But nobody said anything to us about don't do this, don't tell anybody, keep it under wraps. I don't even think the contestants were even kept. So, at least there was some modicum of effort to keep this one under wraps and just not let it out of the bag.
The Kingsford Invitational, people knew right away who had won that thing. So you definitely didn't have the element of surprise as you did with this show.
All right, so once you show up for day of, what are you anticipating? And this, to be fair, for the people that don't know Clint, if you look back on his storied competition career, he's done things like this, where you're competing against a couple other people, you're making up dishes. You did that, was it a Blue Moon Burger thing that you won? Was 2 or 10 years back or whatever it was. So you're used to being under pressure and having to work with ingredients that maybe most people aren't familiar with, whatever the case may be. So like, what are your expectations going in, and then how are you feeling as the show is starting to actually tape and you're getting what you're going to be cooking?
Yeah, I had no idea what was going to happen, so I spent a good few days reading through cookbooks. I've got a few hundred barbecue and grilling cookbooks and traditional cookbooks in my office and just jamming my head full of stuff, just waiting to see what they threw at us.
Are you coached at all to be gregarious and ebullient as the TV filming is happening, or are you not? If you're not, if you're not like Mr. Character, it doesn't. Go ahead.
Trying to egg me into talking smack about the other competitors and, just to put on a show. But when you've got 20 minutes to turn out a dish, I was really focused on that and winning the money versus trying to come off as a shit talker, SHIT talker.
Right. Watch out. So what are you tasked with to cook for your show?
The first round was smoked bologna and cabbage. So we had to come up with an appetizer in 20 minutes, and one person was eliminated out of the 4 after that one.
What did you make?
I figured that everyone else was going to do some sort of a grilled coleslaw with the cabbage, so I made grilled sauerkraut and then wrapped the bologna with bacon, and I made a smoked mustard and put it all on toasted bread. So it was kind of like a sausage sandwich on a plate.
And are you do they just eliminate a person, or is one person chosen as the winner of every round?
No, you go up in front of the judges. We had Claire Robinson from the Food Network and David Guas, who's the host of the show, and then Kelly English, who's one of the top chefs here in Memphis. I think he's a James Beard award-winning chef and has a ton of accolades that we were presenting to. And then they went through and critiqued the dishes and said, 1 or 2 dishes stood out, but these 2 failed to impress, and so you're going home.
What's it like for you to receive feedback directly from these judges? I don't know. Do you know any of these people personally outside of, seeing these people on a show?
Yeah, I know Kelly English fairly well. We've met at different events and whatnot. The critique of my food was pretty minimal. I thought that they were stretching a little bit to make something for television, but I knew that first dish was spot on when I saw everyone else's stuff, so I wasn't really worried at that point about getting cut.
What about the next section? You passed through the first round. What about the next round?
Yeah, then we went on to a 40-minute round, and that was pork belly. We had sorghum syrup and cherries soaked in moonshine.
So what do you concoct out of that? I would imagine, knowing you immediately just drank the moonshine, and then it's a free-for-all from there?
Yeah, then I got naked and ran around, and that was the end of the show.
You get $10,000, sir, for doing that. Thank you.
Yeah.
So what are you making with those ingredients?
So the moonshine, I knew was going to be a harsh ingredient. I used the cherries and a little of the moonshine, grilled some strawberries, and made a barbecue sauce out of that. And then the pork belly, I grilled it a little and put it in some braising liquid, wrapped it up in foil, and let that fat and meat break down. And I also made corn cakes, which weren't, they didn't have anything to do with the secret ingredient, but I just wanted to show a little something extra. I had the time to do it, and kind of try to wow the judges by baking on the grill.
Did they seem to appreciate that? I would imagine when you take a risk like that has nothing to do with whatever the main ingredient is, and it is not good, you could be opening yourself up to undue criticism that you wouldn't have gotten otherwise.
Oh, sure. Yeah, and it could have failed miserably, but, I wanted to set myself apart and really show that I could throw everything at them in 40 minutes. So, I took the risk. It may have failed, but they had a slight criticism about the corn cakes, but together the dish worked really well.
All right, so you make it through that round,
and
then
Claire, who's on the best thing that I ever.
What did she say?
Oh, she said it's the best barbecue sauce she's ever had.
Oh, so, really?
If that means anything.
Wow. So when you see her on the next best thing ever, it's the best.
Yeah, she's going to be
ever.
Talking about me.
She was saying your sauce is the best stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. She loves my sauce.
That's right. Great. You make it through that round. You're going into the final round. What are you tasked with there?
The final round. What the hell did we have? We had monster steaks. We had ramps, which are kind of like little green onions. What else? We had a pickled vegetable of sorts, like a relish, and one other ingredient, which I'll think of in a minute.
So when you see...
Swiss chard.
Swiss chard. So when you see the ingredients, is it... I mean, you just figure everybody's going to be grilling a steak, or are you going to get crazy and cut up like little pieces and make beef... What do they call that raw beef stuff? There's a fancy name for it. Beef pate or...
Carpaccio or beef tartare.
Yeah, tartare, right, yeah. So what are you up to?
I wanted to keep the steak intact, but I made a chimichurri sauce, like a Brazilian chimichurri sauce, and actually cut a pocket in the steaks and stuffed it in there so it could kind of absorb that flavor while it was cooking on the grill.
How does that finished product end up? Do you take it out, or you just leave it in there like a stuffing? And because I would imagine, depending on how it's made.
So when they'd cut into it, they'd come across those pockets of the chimichurri.
And their I mean, you want it, so obviously they like. But so what do they think? Did they like the concept of getting
the
in?
guy that I was competing against is he's a Brazilian style cooker, so I knew his steak was going to be awesome, and I wanted to do something special. I actually put the steaks on a wood plank and let them smoke for a while before I seared them on the hot grill.
Was there any thought into hey, I'm doing chimichurri Brazilian style because I'm going to show this punk ass across the grill for me who the real man is?
No, I thought of that after the fact, but it's so quick. I mean, they unveil the ingredients. You got to come up with something quick, and that just jumped into my head. So I went with that and got it on there so the steaks could smoke and I could focus on the other ingredients.
So you end up winning it all. $10,000 is yours to keep. When they announce you as the winner, I mean, you've won other stuff. Where does this win rank amongst other wins that you have garnered here over the years?
Oh, I think it's up there at the top. I mean, to be able to cook under pressure like that, having no idea what you have to use as ingredients, and to get it all done without any real criticism from the judges it's an outstanding accomplishment.
So where does one go from here?
I don't know. I'm petitioning for an all-star episode of American Grill. They're coming back for season 2, so I thought me and the winners of the other 12 episodes could show down, and I could beat the hell out of them too.
Is that something you've pitched directly to TLC?
Yeah, they mentioned it after the show taped, and I've been tweeting about it online, and I've mentioned it a few times, so we'll see.
Shouldn't you have more than one season under the belt to have like a return of awesome competitors? Don't you want to have like 4 or 5? So maybe you have just a run of average talent. I mean, somebody's got to win, right?
Yeah, I think Big Brother, the TV show, they went 11 seasons or something before bringing folks back.
Or, I guess Jeopardy does it. Maybe Jeopardy does it like every year. Or, well, maybe they don't. I had that guy on my show like a couple months ago. What's his name?
The Jeopardy guy?
Yeah, Arthur Chu.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he lives in Cleveland. Didn't come to my house because, thought I was a creep. And but we talked about how great he. I mean, he won like 300 G's inside of what ended up being 2 days of taping or 3 days of taping. So, not a bad take. Yeah, sure. All right, Clint. What else is going on with your internet ventures, the media group, the conglomerates?
Yeah, it's all busy. Doing recipes a lot. I'm doing recipe development for a couple of different companies, doing PR for Melissa Cookston and a couple of other companies. I got invited to go and do some demos and MC a grill off at Taste of Atlanta next month.
Yeah.
Judging a big burger bash here in Memphis in a couple of weeks. So things are good.
And where can go
for a living?
Yeah, where can people go to find out more about Clint?
I guess smokingeye.com or grilling.com. We got new stuff up there 5 days a week, so that's where all my recipes are going these days.
All right, Clint Cantwell just won 10 as far as
After
TV
taxes,
time.
It's like $50.
Right, but as TV time is concerned, just won. Or just netted $50, but grossed $10,000 at the American Grilled, his section of the competition. Clint, appreciate the interview, the look back, and continued success, my friend.
Thank you. Aren't you supposed to call me a name?
I'll call you a name when I want to, dick face.
Awesome.
All right, I'll talk.
Thank you very much, Rempy. I'll see you at the casino.
All right. You'll see me losing, of course. No doubt about it. Clint Cantwell, Smoke and I, we finally met face-to-face at the Kingsford Invitational. And there was a huge casino underneath the, where the hell we were staying at, like the 5 Seasons or the 4 Seasons or whatever. There's a casino underneath there. And it was me and him, and I think we were out partying with Brad Orison, and everybody was like, oh, it's midnight. It's too late for us. We got to turn in. Clint and I were like, man, this bitch is just ramping up. What to do? 2 young men in St. Louis, what to do? So we grabbed a couple of adult libations, went down. I promptly lost $50 on the blackjack table, and I said, good night, everybody. Good night. 6 o'clock in the morning, Clint rolls back to the bedroom, up $750. Not bad. You can win it quick. You can lose it quick, I believe is what they say. All right, folks, we'll come back with a September 11th segment. Before we do that, let me talk to you about Butcher Barbecue products. There is no better or easier way to increase the awesomeness of your barbecue by adding a little or a lot bit of Butcher Barbecue to your arsenal. We all know Butcher's well known for the injection stuff, the pork injection, the beef injection, the prime injection, the bird booster. Folks, if you are the people that complain that chicken doesn't taste good, I can't get any flavor, it's just on the top and it doesn't get down it. The excuses are now over. All you have to do is go to your friendly neighborhood internets, type up butcherbbq.com, and then in the product section, look for Bird Booster. There are a number of different flavors to choose from. Is it going to keep your chicken moist? Yes. But I brine. Let me tell you something. Brining's for old women. You want to retain 7% moisture? Brine, like the rest of the tomfoolers in this nation. You want to maintain a 21% moisture in that chicken? You bird boost. Bird boost, bird boost, bird boost. To my count, that's 3 times more moisture retention than brining. Maybe you want to look into Bird Booster. Maybe you want to try all of the flavors. Maybe you want to finally be the guy that doesn't bitch and moan and complain about how chicken doesn't taste good and there's no flavor. How about this? Rubs and sauces. Dave has them by the truckload. Steak and brisket rubs. Rib rubs, premium rubs, honey rub. Love the honey rub. If you inject, try the premium rub. It's formulated to work with injections. Perfect 1-2 punch to impress judges and friends alike. Of course, the sweet barbecue sauce that I talk about each and every week. Love that stuff. Get 6. It's going to go fast. Don't worry about breaking the bank on shipping. Anything between $55 or less, ship at $8.50. Between $55 and $200, ship at $9.75. And anything over $200 ships free. Of course, the lesson that we learn each and every week is that you should just buy $201 worth of stuff and get the free shipping. Easy to do. You're not going to be disappointed with anything. And Dave, always happy to take your comments, input, and otherwise asking questions. You know, he only happens to be a championship pitmaster. I mean, what do you need to talk to him for? ButcherBBQ.com. That's ButcherBBQ.com. Always trust your butcher. ATYB. ATYB. Always trust your butcher. Never mind. We're back right after this.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
Who would have thought this music thing was going to go this far? I never asked for this. I never asked for this fast living, the women, the whiskey, craziness. There's whiskey in my soul. Hey, Bert, let's go.
I've been drifting down that open highway, finger in the air, 'cause I do things.
I think there are disappointed people that I didn't make Clint say, well, hold on. I got it right here. Let me ease the disappointment. A lot of people wanted him to say this. Oh, hold on. Let me try again.
Ah, sweet blue.
Wow.
You better have my donuts.
Ah, sweet blue.
All right, is that good for everybody now? We're all good? Sweet blue. Thanks to Clint Cantwell. Smoke in the Eye Barbecue is his blog, grilling.com. He is the editor. And I would. There's a number of, I guess we would call it guest bloggers or writers or contributors or, you know, whatever the snazzy term of the day is for that. But Clint is the person that pretty much dictates what's happening over there at grilling.com. Don't let anybody fool you. He's much too modest to talk about that. And congratulations to him on the big win for American Grilled. All right, so Thursday marks 13 years from when terrorists right here in America decided to hijack 4 planes, and fly them into various parts of our country. 2 found their way to the heart of New York City, and buildings in my, I don't know if I'm a skyscraper guy, but I always thought the World Trade Centers were very unique. Having grown up in upstate New York for most of my life until the 7th, 8th grade, got to see a lot of the New York City stations, Channel 11 WPIX, where I watched the Yankees growing up. And there was always a commercial where there was a shot panning up, and then there were the Twin Towers as number 11 WPIX. Seeing it in every movie ever, to be all of a sudden in a position where they're not up anymore, they're not standing anymore, they're gone like forever, is still 13 years later, mind-boggling to me. I was a young, 13 years ago would put me right around 27 years old. I was a very young, kind of out of college guy, making sales call out to the west side of Ohio. If you're familiar with Ohio at all, then you're a big roller coaster fan. Cedar Point, so Sandusky, Ohio, and I was out in it's Cedar Point and then cornfields forever. And I was out in the cornfields listening to Howard Stern, who then was still on terrestrial radio. And Robin Quivers interrupted one of Howard's interviews and said, "Hey, there was just a report of a plane crashing into the World Trade Center." And I didn't think too much about it. I did think right off the bat, how do you miss that? Or something must happen to the pilot, or some, But plane, like propeller plane, never thought for a second that airliners were hitting and about to hit each of the World Trade Centers. And then a handful of minutes pass, and then she comes back on again, Robin, and says, "Oh, Howard, there's been these are jets that are crashing into the World Trade Center, and we're under attack." And then to hear that one is, there was a disturbance over at the Pentagon, and planes are being grounded, and I was in the middle of nowhere. Had a 4-month-old kid at that point, almost to the day. She was born on May 8th. This was September 11th. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm out in the middle of nowhere. I'm an hour and 10 minutes away from my house. I don't know what's going on with my wife. Cell phones weren't hugely prevalent back in 2001 still. Much more pervasive than they were than they were originally, but still not where we are today, where everybody has them. And I'm thinking, man, we're under attack. And they're using planes. And if you know anything about aviation and how many planes and jets are up in the air during the day, it's mind-boggling to think, for as bad as it was, if it would have been 10 times worse or 20 times worse, what cities they could have taken advantage of. And I'm nowhere near anybody that I wanted to be near. And I turn around and I race to home. And the streets are emptying. And I blow through the middle of downtown Cleveland, and I got to be the only car on the driveway or on the highway at this point. And finally make it back to my in-laws, which is where everybody ended up going, because nobody knows where to go. And now we watch the replays of the planes going into the World Trade Center, and then you watch them go down, and it's confirmed that the Pentagon was struck and that there is a plane out in Pennsylvania that has crashed as well. into the fields, and then to learn the stories that come out of there. And for years, I wanted to have and if you go back and listen to this show every September 11th or around September 11th, this segment, there was a time where I was calling for a channel to be made, a cable channel to be made that showed what happened on September 11th, 2001 in a loop over and over again. And the idea behind that is to make sure that, my kids growing up, the more time that passes, the more you get away from it. And it's just what happens. It's not as fresh as it was the year after it happened, or 2 years or 5 years. And we're getting on 13 years now. But the idea was to keep it so people would go by it, or maybe they would want to go back and remember how they felt, so they wouldn't forget. And then I watched a special last year and was listening to a lady whose son was on one of the planes that went into the World Trade Center, and she said, and this gave perspective for me, and I think half of me still wants to have that channel, so in 100 years from now, when that channel is still playing, people 100 years removed or 113 years removed understand what that was like here on our turf. Not somewhere else, but right here in the capital of the country, New York City. And she said, every year I see these planes, it's just reenacted, not reenacted, but it's replayed and replayed and replayed. And she's like, I can't watch it anymore. I don't turn on the television anymore. I don't watch those. And I'm thinking, why don't you watch them? And she said, it's because every year I watch my son die again. Multiple times during the course of the day, I watch his plane go into the World Trade Center. And I was like, well, that was a perspective that I never got. For as much as me wanting to never forget, I never thought that, having that play is, for all those people in those planes specifically. I mean, think about it. How many times do you watch, have you seen the planes go into the World Trade Center, and it doesn't register that there's people in there? Like, it doesn't. I mean, be honest. I mean, you think it's there, but it's just, and you see it, and it just doesn't seem like those people were taking off to go to L.A. and San Francisco and had business, and were going to see family. I mean, there were people on those planes. And you're just watching them go right into those buildings, and you hear the story of Somerset and how they overtook the plane, Shanksville. It is. I mean, think about that. The next time you're when you watch, when they're going to re-show it again, there's people on those planes. There's people on those planes, and it's like you watch it, and it just doesn't even register. And it's just something that, for as long as I do the show, and, I always say if I never had the show, or if I stopped doing the show, in a year from now or 2 years from now, I would probably delete all the social media stuff, because, I have that for the show. I have it for promotion. I have it for the promotion of my sponsors that graciously support this show and believe in it. But this, this specific thing is very close to me, and I can't sit here and name off 10 people that I know personally that were victims in that I never see again, like a lot of other people do. But it's just imperative to me. It's a passion for me to make sure that when we get around this time, especially if September 11th doesn't happen to fall on a Tuesday, that I set aside even these 14 minutes, which seems paltry, over the course of a year before I do it again. to remember the people that lost their lives on September 11th, to remember the people that were taken advantage of and murdered on September 11th, and to also remember the heroes, the policemen, the EMS, the firefighters that went into harm's way. And that's what they do. Emergencies, I'm running out, they're running in. And that was all part of the plan. And, those bastards got them. They got what they wanted. And I'm sure they wanted more, but they got a lot. A lot of people died that day. A lot of people shouldn't have died that day. We've tried to make changes for the betterment of it, but, making changes versus not forgetting, it's not going to happen on this show's watch, especially when we get down to this time of the year. And, I'm not reading the comments or anything because I'm not looking to try and take anybody's thoughts and make them my own. This is just me talking for these 14 minutes tonight. And we'll do it again next year, and we'll do it again the year after that. And as long as I have this show, I will always sign off the way that I do, and we will always hold a special segment for September 11th. Because I don't want to let anybody forget about it. And I think we're at a time now where, just media and what's available on the internet pretty much makes that impossible. But I do believe that the farther you get away, the farther you get away. And I don't want that to happen here for this show. It can happen on other shows, but it's not going to happen on this show. So we will do it again next year. Absolutely 100%. All right, we will be back after the Big Poppa Smokers read to wrap up the show. If you didn't know, Big Poppa Smokers is the one-stop shop for anyone interested in barbecue, featuring a comprehensive selection of all-American-made grills, spices, sauces, accessories, even a kit that gives you everything you need to make a world-class smoker out of a 55-gallon drum. Big Poppa Smokers has made a name for itself by making an award-winning line of championship rubs. The rubs have won almost every major competition barbecue event, including the 2012 and 13 World Series of Barbecue in Kansas City, the 2012 Jack Daniels Invitational, the 2013 Kingsford Challenge, and the 2014 Houston Livestock and Rodeo, plus many more to come. BPS also banded together with fellow California-based rub company Simply Marvelous Barbecue to form what has now become known as the West Coast Offense. Defying conventional wisdom, these two California-based rub makers have cornered the market on competitive barbecue and begun to redefine the flavor profile that competitive cooks from across the country have begun to aim for. They've even created two unique barbecue competitions, King of the Smokers, which brings the best of the best, and a head-to-head back-to-basics competition, King of the Smoker, unique in the fact that contestants cannot use any electrical devices, such as pellet cookers or pit minders. They're only allowed to use charcoal wood and their wits to win one of the most high-stakes competitions around. And then the other one, the Guinea Pig, which is a cost-controlled event that helps bring in newcomers to the world of competition barbecue. Also features prize distribution all the way down to 10th place in each category, which helps provide incentive to get the new folks into the competition. On top of all of that, Big Poppa's has created a unique brand ambassador program, the Big Poppa Smokers Elite Team, featuring 15 of the best competition teams in the country working together to promote camaraderie, competition barbecue, and to benefit children's charities across the U.S. Keep in mind that Big Poppa Smokers has been able to do all of this with only 4 years' experience in the business, turning the competition barbecue world on its head, creating their own unique competitions, becoming a staple of a nationwide restaurant chain, and benefiting children's charities across the United States. Just the beginning for Big Poppa Smokers, and of course, as mentioned earlier, Sterling Ball will be on the show next week. All right, we're back to wrap it up right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Get in the smoke. Call 877-448-0433 to get on the air. Now, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, 216-220-0966. Greg at the BBQCentralShow.com. Just kind of scanning through the chat room now. Matthew writing, Greg, if you see this, can you say thanks to my friend Nick, who is training pilots to go over and fight them? Yeah, I can do that. Matt actually lost friends in the attack, and most of all lost good friends after that in the war. Yeah, well, that's a whole other thing. The war. Let me check the email here real quick. If you have any questions or concerns about the show, you feel free to email me, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. You call me 216-220-0966. Before we wrap it up, I do want to mention that you have the option of giving a $25 donation for a raffle ticket to win a $275 ticket for the October 3rd ribs and everything pretty much pork. So it's $25. You send it to my PayPal address, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. We'll run it for the week, and then Tuesday of next week, we will draw the winner. All right, all the way back in the first hour is Meathead, talking pizza, and more pizza. You can get it on the replay. Then we talked with Clint Cantwell in the top of the second hour about his win on American Grill. And then we talked a little September 11th, just this past segment. All replays can be found at internet, YouTube, iTunes, all that good stuff, thebbqcentralshow.com. If you have raw cast iron, it's season it each and every time. Little Pam, little Crisco, let it burn back in. Generations of rust-free service. Also, September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. Till next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, is your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.